Got dreams of being a professional podcaster, but have no idea what you're doing?
This is impossible.
That's about to change.
A new kind of school.
Welcome to the Pod School Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the show. Now, if you are a fan of all things administration, if you like to dot I's and cross T's, then you are going to need to hold on to your underpants because this episode of the show is going to make you all sorts of hot and steamy because we are talking about that sexy, sexy thing, metadata. Tagging your MP3 with delightful metadata is a step in the podcasting process that a lot of people don't bother with. And I understand why. I mean, you've uploaded the episode after going through the process of actually putting it together, planning it, maybe interviewing somebody. You've edited it, you've multi-tracked it, you've mixed it. You've got your show notes pages and your social scheduling. Who can be bothered adding a few little bits and bobs into your MP3 file when iTunes just makes it look pretty anyway and you're entering that information there? The problem with not tagging your MP3 is that the file goes out into the world without any of the information about you and your show and your artwork embedded in that file. That is fine if you have got your show up in iTunes and it's grabbing all of the information from your RSS feed. But if someone was to download your episode or play it on Windows Media Player, none of that information will actually be in the file. What they'll get is a basic file name and that grey musical note of death. So that is what you want to avoid. The little MP3s that you are packaging up are like your little products that you're sending out into the internety world. And you want to protect your brand as much as possible. So it's really important that those MP3s are covered in your delightful cover art that you spent so much time mulling over and putting together so that when people play it, even outside of one of the podcast directories, it looks exactly like you intended it to look. It's really easy sometimes, I think, when we are so drowned in Apple products to assume that everybody in the world listens to your show that way. And it's just not the case. There are many places that people will grab your show from. Some who have better tech skills than I have may use your RSS feed to get it that way rather than going through a directory. There are a mountain of ways that your show can get out there into people's ears. So it's just really important to put all of the important information with that individual file. It is a bit of a punish, but it really doesn't take long. And when you've put all of that effort and time, what is another maybe 5 minutes just to make sure that you sort of tie a nice little bow on the packaging of that episode? If you head to the show notes page for this episode, which you'll find at podschoolpodcast.com, I will put a link to an ID3 editor that you can download, and there will also be a video there that actually shows you how to enter all the details on your ID3 editor so that you can tag your MP3. It's a little hard to explain, obviously, because you have to sort of see exactly what you need to do. So if you head to podschoolpodcast.com, you can find that video there as well as a link to the ID3 editor you can download, and you can start just bashing away to your heart's content. I get it. This isn't the big celebrity interview bit or the designing your cover art or the coming up with content. It's not terribly fun, but it is, if you want to be a truly professional show, an important step in the process. And that's it for this short but hopefully not boring episode. Make sure you head to podschoolpodcast.com if you want to find out more about where you can download the ID3 editor and also watch that video on what you need to do. Of course, if you want more help coming up with your idea and then turning that idea into a fully fledged podcast, then you can find out more about my online podcasting course at podschool.com.au. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll see you next week, and until then, happy podcasting.
That's all for today.